Sounds like you had a pretty good life then.
Absolutely. Really enjoyed my life prior to this, I must say. It's sort of an unacknowledged thing in society that hair loss, it is a big deal for guys. It's something wanted to address, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that finasteride is no solution at all because it's far too dangerous. The risk is just not worth it. You cannot imagine the risk that you're taking prior to taking this drug. Little silly things like Ashton Kutcher, the movie star, he came out around this time and confessed that he'd been on dutasteride for 10 years. And I was like, right, well, how bad can this drug really be?
All signs pointed towards just take the drug. What's the worst that could happen?
You absolutely expect that if you take a drug and you have adverse reaction on the drug, once you withdraw from the drug, it resolves. I want to make it clear I was not aware of the extent of post-Finasteride syndrome. Compared to the reality of what I've experienced, the leaflet that comes with the drug is ridiculously slight. Practically nothing is mentioned on there, in fact. I ordered it online from a company named Boots. Didn't see a single doctor, was not counselled on the possibility of any side effects. It's actually easier than walking into the store and buying the drug over the counter. I only took it 4 times for a total of 1 milligram. I took the first dose at night before I went to bed, and immediately upon closing my eyes noticed I would describe it as a waking dream. Completely bizarre. Never experienced anything like that in my life before. It was very unusual for me. I was always a very good sleeper, 8 hours a night. And this numbing in the glands, I thought, okay, I'll be prudent and discontinue the medication. For the following 3 days, I thought, okay, that's fine. Like I've stopped the drug and these adverse effects have stopped. Fantastic. On the fourth day, that is when the crash occurred. And I remember I was reading on the screen and all the words sort of blurred out and faded off to the left. And yeah, I just stood up and I was just terrified. I thought I was having a stroke or something like that. The proverbial really hit the fan. The complete cascade of so many symptoms just all came in. My sleep just went to pieces. You'd fall asleep and then an hour later I'd wake up, can't get back to sleep. The concept of pleasure had been almost entirely deleted from my brain. This is not depression, what we're talking about here. I just could not feel any pleasure or reward whatsoever. And I looked at myself in that mirror in absolute terror. It's something that before it happened to me, I could never have imagined it. The derealization is so horrifying. Extreme brain fog, like trying to think through plumes of smog, was so heavy at points. It felt like my head was in a vice. I couldn't think straight. And this all really got a lot worse as the weeks progressed. In terms of the physical changes, along the jawline, it was hurting. It felt bruised. My perineum, which previously was bulging, it was like a bicep, that all but disappeared. It's a muscle loss, it's extremely around my neck, my traps and my shoulders, they all shrunk down. There's also skeletal issues. This all occurred within like the first couple of weeks of the crash. All these physical changes. The physical side effects haven't changed at all. Walking around the house, it felt like I was drunk at sea. The world actually tilted on its side in my vision, which was obviously completely horrifying. I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, it's like I say, this is all from 1 milligram of finasteride and all occurring after discontinuation of the drug. This is not, oh, you're you and here's some side effects on top of you. It's body horror. I distinctly remember thinking, this is unbelievable what is happening to me. It is beyond the human experience. I would call it a complete biological paradigm shift. And that is the complete destruction of my life. It says on the label of finasteride, some patients have reported suicidal thoughts. And it's like, yeah, okay, but why are they experiencing suicidal thoughts, right? I'd say patients are blue in the face, frankly, reporting this to their clinicians, and they have done nothing collectively in terms of reporting to government or higher up. I'm obviously suicidal because of this. I think if you said to somebody without PFS, look, you can't use your phone, you can't watch television, you can't have a conversation most of the day, it isn't much of a life at all. I'm just holding on in the hope that things improve, but improvements have been extremely minuscule. If you were to ask me, could I live like this for the rest of my natural life? No, I could not. And every day is torture. And believe me, when you don't want to die, but you feel like you're not being given a choice, the prospect of suicide is so horrifying. I know it's ghoulish to speak about this in such frank terms, but this is the damned reality of this disease. And this is the situation that I've ended up in because of taking 1 milligram of a hair loss pill.